Donald Trump just deleted the Constitution. I wish I was kidding, folks. But the deeper you dive into this stupid-ass dystopian story, the crazier it gets. And at this point, I genuinely don't know what's worse. The fact that he did it, the fact that he could do it, or the Orwellian way they are trying to cover it up. Let's dive into this full dystopian story, and you help me out with that question in the comments while you drop a like and subscribe if you'd like to save this nation from being handed over to billionaires and Palantir courtesy of Donald Trump.
This is beyond monopolization. This is straight up techno-feudalism. Now they have a political environment where it's completely normal for tech billionaires to sit front row during inaugurations, where government efficiency can just be outsourced to private companies, where data collection on citizens is just the price of doing business. Trump did his work as the puppet. He made all of this seem routine instead of alarming.
So this whole fiasco starts, as most do these days, on Twitter at 7:20 a.m. this morning, where Brian Krasenstein posts breaking. The U.S. government has just removed sections 9 and 10 of Article 1 of the U.S. Constitution from their website. Note that sections 9 and 10 deal with writ of habeas corpus, aka the fundamental right that protects individuals from unlawful detention by requiring the government to justify the reason for holding someone. And please keep that in mind, because we will circle back to how that is at the heart of what's really going on here at the end, and it is of crucial importance for how we understand what Trump is doing here. And the other thing that sections 9 and 10 deal with is that Congress has the ability to control tariffs. Though that is of less importance here because we've already seen that the pedo protecting party, aka MAGA Republicans, don't give a damn about their control over tariffs, just like they don't care about a cabal of elite PDF files. But then the government caught wind of the fact that people were catching wind of them deleting the Constitution, and we got this wonderful reporting from Rolling Stone. Funny coincidence, government website glitch removes Trump's least favorite part of Constitution. The online Constitution website is maintained by the Library of Congress, which you'll remember Trump is trying to take over. Donald Trump is still trying to take over the Library of Congress, but the National Library has already, apparently by accident, modified its online copy of the U.S. Constitution to remove the president's least favorite part, the provision that guarantees people's right to challenge their detention and demands the government justify their confinement. This after White House Deputy Chief of Staff and real-life Mr. Burns, Stephen Miller, has publicly floated the idea of suspending habeas corpus to aid the president's efforts to arrest and deport immigrants. The writ of habeas corpus can be suspended in a time of invasion, so that is an option we're actively looking at, Miller said in May. And now they are quite literally doing that. Within the past few weeks, Section 9 from Article 1 of the Constitution, which states, the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus shall not be suspended unless when in cases of rebellion or invasion the public safety may require it, disappeared from the Library of Congress's Constitution annotated webpage. By Wednesday morning, officials in Trump's government were quietly telling staff that the deletions were the result of a technical glitch, with the Library of Congress saying it was a coding error.
We have some serious news right now that hasn't been reported by major media sites. If you go to constitution.congress.gov, two key parts of the United States Constitution on this government website have been removed. And it's unclear whether this was intentional or an accident, so I need your help to spread the word. Article 1, Section 9 and Article 1, Section 10 have both been removed off of this website that is run by the Library of Congress and the U.S. Copyright Office. The Library of Congress has been under fire recently because Todd Blanche, Donald Trump's personal attorney and current Deputy Attorney General, was actually named interim head, although that naming has been in dispute. Article 1, Section 9 covers due process, covers habeas corpus. Article 1, Section 10 covers states' powers and the ability of states to enter into treaties, etc. And right now, when you go on either website, this is what you see. It simply says, page not found, and then there's a picture of George Washington. The Trump administration may have just intentionally removed the website related to the Constitution's protections of habeas corpus and other due process rights without anyone knowing. It's time to make some noise and spread the word. Hopefully major media outlets pick up on it, and hopefully this was just a mistake and they reverse it. So spread the word and follow along for more.
But it's hard to believe that something like that could just be a mistake. I completely agree with this commenter here. I mean, Jesus Christ, I just want one day of nothing horrific. And I don't even know if I agree with another commenter like this. They can remove it, doesn't make it so. We have copies of the Constitution. It's called freaking books. Yeah, but you're talking about the same people who are burning books, A, and defying court orders. They don't care what the Constitution says if they are dismantling and not listening to the exact people who were thought to have the power to enforce the Constitution. What the fuck does a piece of paper do if you can't enforce it? ICE doesn't need warrants or badges. What, are you just gonna walk up to the White House with a copy of the Constitution and demand immigrants be set free? Or maybe the Democrats and Chuck Schumer will call on Nicolas Cage to go grab the Declaration of Independence from Trump's office to save America, like in National Treasure. It is fucking borderline stupid, whether this was an accident or not, to think that these people give a flying fuck about the Constitution. There's a great article from Mother Jones that just came out yesterday saying far-right militias adored the Constitution, then came Trump. Right-wing activists have long warned of the coming federal invasion. Where are they now that it's happened? It's something we've talked about all the time. People say they're 2A for when the government becomes tyrannical. Where the fuck are you at now? And it is frankly insane that this happened today, because literally this morning as I was doom scrolling on TikTok at 2 a.m., I found this incredible video from the user on TikTok, Unoriginal Sins, from a week ago, saying, "Rip the Constitution, February 7th, 2025. And it's long, but I've chopped up the best parts of it for you here, and I would like to play it for you now.
They're not preparing for a post-Trump world. We are in a post-Trump world. You're kidding yourself if you think Trump has been in charge of any of this. I mean, the man barely knows how to read or write. He's a puppet. He's so clearly not in charge of anything. And the thing is that he's so easy to control because he's so deeply in debt to everyone. He is nothing. So it makes sense that he'd have to be reliant on all of these other people to be pulling on the strings for him, because truly he's been a broke man his entire life. Do you really think this guy knows one word to that 1,000-page big beautiful bill that he just had signed on July 4th? All of that tech language, surveillance frameworks, AI governance, you think Trump wrote any of that? Like maybe he wrote the title. But that's it. When I think back to the moment where I realized who was really running the country, and I mean like really new, was probably February 7th, 2025, when they locked Congress out of the Department of Education. Yeah, remember that? Remember when Elon Musk took a bunch of his spring interns and just walked in there, flipped the locks, and just started scraping all of this data to feed into Palantir? Meanwhile, all of our elected representatives just stood outside, tapping on the windows, being like, hey, this isn't cool, let us in. And I work in AI, and so like I'm watching this happen, just yelling at my phone, like, get the fuck in there right now before it's too late, because if you don't, you're done. We're done. All of this is done. Just like that. Like, this isn't some hard drive that you can request the files on later and draft up a lawsuit for. Like, when it's gone, it's gone. I knew what was happening in there. We all did. Like, we knew that data was getting scraped to train some system. That system ended up being Palantir. What did Congress do? Like a press conference? Strongly worded statements? A couple of them made some signs that they held up during a congressional hearing. Oh, maybe they bought some pink jackets to go along with it, but that's it. Here's the thing that really gets me. Like, was there any meaningful consequence from that day? Like, think about it. Why is not one person in jail right now? Why is not one of those kids arrested for what they were doing with Elon Musk on that day? Like, nobody is being made an example of. We keep talking about this like some line is going to be crossed in the future, but that line was already crossed on February 7th and nothing happened. That's when I realized, oh, this is going to be really easy for them, isn't it? And then you've got Elon Musk with his fake outrage over the big beautiful bill, as if Doge wasn't taking over the entire government at the same time that bill was being written. As if Elon Musk didn't write it himself. There were 3 men who wrote that bill. Like, look at the language, follow the money, all of the surveillance technology, all of the money going to the Department of Defense contracts. Who got those contracts? Like, this whole bill serves 3 men and the 3 companies that they own, and anybody else it serves is just inconsequential. Think about what's being built here, and each piece almost seems innocuous and disconnected when you look at all of it as individual circumstances. Oracle buying TikTok, well, it's just another business deal. Palantir expanding into government contracts, well, it's just standard procurement. SpaceX being essential to NASA, well, it's an innovation success story, the American dream. These same 3 dudes are owning everything right now. Like, this is not just McDonald's having the monopolization in the corner on the fast food market. Like, this is monopolization to where our survival in anything that we do in life is going to be dependent on these same 3 guys. J.D. Vance's seat in the White House was purchased by Peter Thiel. Donald Trump's seat in the White House was purchased by Elon Musk. Doge was really important to Palantir, and Palantir is really important to Oracle because of all the data centers they're building. And it's like, this is why it's so frustrating whenever I hear people talking about all of these different projects as if they're different pieces to different machines. Like, this is all one fucking machine. It's like a Rube Goldberg machine, but what's being built here is so far beyond free market capitalism. This is beyond monopolization. This is straight up techno-feudalism. Now they have a political environment where it's completely normal for tech billionaires to sit front row during inaugurations, where government efficiency can just be outsourced to private companies, where data collection on citizens is just the price of doing business. Trump did his work as the puppet. He made all of this seem routine instead of alarming. Hell, maybe that's why they're speedrunning all of this. Maybe he's not meant to actually last the full 4 years. Maybe he is on his way out, because they don't need him anymore. They just need the conditions that he's normalized. And you can see it happening. MAGA is splitting. Like, these are the exact conditions that Elon Musk created for this third party that he keeps floating on Twitter. These dots are all connected. These people are all connected, and we need to practice saying that out loud. Like, professional journalists need to practice saying this out loud. I just feel like I want to start hearing more of these journalists say this kind of stuff out loud so that we all feel a little less crazy, or at least selfishly I feel less crazy. Come on, what do you mean you wonder what JD Vance is thinking? He's never had an original thought a day in his life. Like, he just sits there quietly because he knows exactly who's writing the script. Mark my words, JD Vance is going to be our next president. Or whatever Peter Thiel ends up calling that position.
Fucking chilling, and I definitely recommend giving her a follow because her videos are incredible. But that is what Trump is reining in, that MAGA doesn't understand, and that mainstream media, and even people on the left, Democrats, even some other channels, I would argue, even us, up until, I guess now, have not been talking about or don't think about. Yes, all of these things are atrocious. Yes, getting rid of the Constitution, hiding habeas corpus, tanking the economy, setting up the economy to be bought back by a select few who can manipulate the stock market, stripping states from being able to regulate AI, and putting all of these things in the big, beautiful bill that he didn't even know were there, nobody knew were there, is creating a futuristic, fascist, techno-feudalism security state where Peter Thiel and Palantir own your fucking data and mine that data as well as your entire existence until we become the fucking Matrix and we're just being harvested literally. We used to talk on this channel about the only way that what Donald Trump was doing made sense was if he was a foreign actor or trying to work against the American government or working for Putin, and I don't think those things necessarily have to be mutually exclusive or aren't true. But this makes so much more sense. That man is quite literally a bankrupted puppet who, you know, is getting more wealthy because he's pimping out the presidency, but who is really no more than a puppet for Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, and these corporate, techno, Silicon Valley billionaire elites that A, want to hide a pedophile ring, and B, want to create a fascist techno-feudalist state out of one of the strongest economic and military powers in the existence of the world. Like, this is the cabal of elites, the MAGA conspiracy theory that MAGA has been talking about all this time, and they are propping it up and sacrificing themselves like the sacrificial lambs they are to help put it into existence. And I know, I'm sorry, this video started and was supposed to be about Trump deleting the Constitution, which he did, but why the fuck do you think small little things like that would happen? Why would there be a technical glitch in the Library of Congress? Why would Elon Musk have all our data and our access to our social security numbers and God knows what else? Why would power be continually consolidated to an executive, to being ripped from Congress, to erasing the thought of them having their own power, to erasing the thought of people having habeas corpus? Let me know if I'm off the deep end. I will put the tinfoil hat on, I will admit it, but this makes way too much sense to not at least think about. Anyway, this has gone on for far too long. I apologize, but I appreciate if you listen because I think this is so important. And I really think this girl hit the nail on the head with what is actually happening here, especially because she works in AI. But yeah, I am so curious to know all of your thoughts and what you think about this in those comments down below. And now more than ever, like, we need to A, call this out, B, support independent media that will have the ability to call this out because we're not tied to corporations or fucking mergers or billionaires or, for fuck's sake, even lobbyists. Like, we can't trust any of these politicians. Except maybe like Bernie and AOC. But yeah, I already appreciate the hell out of you guys, and I would greatly appreciate it if you dropped a like, subscribed, and supported the work that we're doing here to try and save us from a damn dystopian-looking future. For Really American, I'm Kenny Hesse, and I will see you in the next one.